Welcome one and all to Dragonfire. I hope you'll enjoy today's video, and maybe we'll even help some people along the way. Maybe even you. Our first one of the day is from an OP that wants to know if she's an AH for not tipping a waitress because she gave her record-breaking bad service. AITAH for not tipping after overhearing what my waitress said about me. I, 30 female, was at a restaurant last night with my mother. She was meeting my boyfriend's mom for the first time. We're punctual people, so we got there about 30 minutes before our reservation. We got seated with no issues. It took the waitress 20 minutes to get to our table, even though the restaurant was pretty empty. Right away, I could tell she didn't want to wait on us. She didn't greet us with a hello, she just asked what we wanted to drink. We told her, and I noticed that she didn't write our order down. It took another 15 minutes for our drinks to get to our table, and they were wrong. It's hard to mess up a ginger ale and a vodka soda, but she did. My mom pointed out that she didn't order a Pepsi, and the waitress rolled her eyes, took my mother's glass, and disappeared. I excused myself to use the washroom shortly after. I had no idea where I was going, so I went to the entrance to ask one of the hostesses there. While I was walking up to the server area, I overheard my waitress talking to some other hostesses. She was mad that she had to wait on a black table because they never tip well. My mother and I were the only black people in the restaurant. She wasn't even whispering when she said it either. I wasn't stunned, but her lack of effort started to make sense. I interrupted their conversation and I asked where the bathroom was. I didn't let on that I had heard what they were talking about. When I got out of the bathroom, my boyfriend and his mom were already seated. My boyfriend and his mother are white. When my waitress saw the rest of our party, she did a 180. Her service was stellar. She took notes, told jokes, and our water glasses were always filled. She didn't make another mistake. Because the night went so well, I decided to treat everyone and pay the check. She gave me the machine, and I smiled at her while I keyed in 0% for a tip. She didn't notice until after the receipt had been printed out. By that time, all of us had already started to leave. She tapped me on the shoulder and asked if I had made a mistake on the bill. I told her I didn't think so and looked at the receipt. She asked if there was a problem with her service, and I said her service was fantastic. But since I was a black woman, I don't tip well. Her face went white and she kind of laughed nervously, and I laughed as well. I walked out after that, but my boyfriend's mom asked what had happened. I told her what I had overheard, and my boyfriend's mom said that I should have tipped her anyway because it shows character. She seemed pretty mad at me after that. My boyfriend and my mom are both on my side, but I'm wondering if I should have just thrown in a $2 tip. Wow, I've heard of bad service before, but that takes the damn cake. NTA, not only did she not deserve a tip, I would have complained to her boss or wrote a bad Yelp review or something. Let's see what another poster thinks. NTA. I worked as a server for 6 years, and I would absolutely not expect a tip for behaving like this to customers. She probably does not make much in tips, and this industry isn't for her. It's so inappropriate to ask people why they didn't tip you. This is so embarrassing. Our next one is from a dude that wants to get the old snip snip, and his wife isn't too happy about it. AITAH for getting a vasectomy against my wife's wishes. My wife, 31 female, and I, 36 male, have 2 kids together. I am adamantly done and do not want more while she wants another, and this has been a constant fight in our relationship since the second was born. I did originally agree to have 3 kids before we got married, but have since changed my mind for the following reasons. First, being kidless, you don't truly understand how expensive they are. With 2, we are now sitting financially comfortable. Adding a third would put us into struggling, and that is not a place I want to be. The second reason is the second birth had complications, and our second child, while it ended up being minor, had complications immediately after birth, and it terrified me. It isn't a place I wish to be again, and don't wish on anyone. We have been arguing about this for the past 2 years, and I have remained firm about no. I have even stated, if you want another, then divorce may be our only option. A while ago, I scheduled a vasectomy and told my wife, which started a whole new wave of arguments. My wife said if I did it, she wouldn't be here when I got back. Well, this morning my buddy drove me to my appointment and drove me back, and she held true to what she said. I am sitting here on a bag of peas getting texts from my in-laws about how bad of a husband I am. Am I really the though, when I have been adamant that I am done? NTA. My dude, it's completely your choice. It is your body after all. And for her to just up and leave, not just you, but her kids too, just goes to show you how truly committed to your relationship she is. And another poster wrote, "Nope, but finding another man to have the third child with will be her choice." This one is from an OP that didn't get up to let his wife in their house, which resulted in her spending the night outside. Well, it looks like she was in the doghouse. Not because she was in trouble, it's just, well, she needed someplace to sleep. AITAH for letting my wife spend the night outside because she forgot the keys and I was asleep. I, 35 male, need some perspective on a situation that happened recently. My wife, 34 female, lost her house keys about 2 weeks ago during a night out with friends. She loves going out to parties after work. She works in the media industry. And ever since losing her keys, she's been coming home late, expecting me to let her in. This has been going on for several days. I've reminded her multiple times to take my keys or get a spare made, but she keeps forgetting. Every night, I've been staying up to let her in, which has been really disrupting my sleep. Our kid, 7 female, even joked that mommy should wear a key around her neck like a necklace, which I laughed at, but my wife didn't find amusing. 2 nights ago, I reminded her once again to take my keys with her before she left for a party. She said she would, and I thought she had them with her. I was exhausted and went to bed early. When she got home and found the door locked, she called and texted me repeatedly, but I didn't hear my phone. I recall hearing knocking, but I think it just became a part of my dreams. Turns out she forgot her keys again. She ended up spending the night outside, and when I woke up in the morning, I saw her texts and missed calls. She was still awake and fuming and had to call in sick at work because of it. She accused me of being heartless for not waking up to let her in and making her sleep outside. I feel awful about what happened, but I also think she had plenty of opportunities to take my keys or get a new set made. I didn't intentionally lock her out, but I'm also running on little sleep trying to accommodate her schedule. AITA for not waking up to let her in. NTA. My dude, she's an adult, and it's not your fault that she seems to have the memory of a guppy when it comes to grabbing the keys. Maybe your daughter is right. Maybe your wife should be demoted from adult to latchkey child. And this poster wrote, NTA. Did you marry a woman or a child? Even your young child seems wiser and more mature. She should take responsibility for her mistakes and actions. She lost her keys. She didn't make sure she got new ones. She went out and came home late. Her choices, her responsibilities. It's just insane to expect you to stay up to cover for her mistakes and irresponsibilities. That woman would drive me insane. Our last story is from a guy that has a pretty big problem. WIBTA for going NC with the family that raised me for 11 years. Okay, I'm going to try and condense this as much as possible. Basically, I, 18 male, got removed from my bio family when I was 7. I got taken into foster care and was matched with a family called the Peters. I was then raised by the Peters for the remainder of my life from 7 all the way until now. They had originally told me that I was able to live with them indefinitely, as I considered the Peters my family. And they applied for a staying put order with me, which basically means they continued to get paid something like £250 by the government to recognize that they're continuing to support a former foster child, me, after my 18th birthday. As I said before, I was always told by the Peters I could stay as long as I needed to set myself up in life. Their bio son, who I considered my brother, is 25 and still lives with them. He doesn't work but did graduate university 2 years ago. I have a conditional offer at a local university, which I'm studying classics with aims to become a teacher. I start in October if I get my predicted A-levels, which I think I will. But the Peters told me that I had to leave by the end of the week because they wanted to get another foster child. This is something they really sprung on me. And it's been extremely difficult for me. I had to get in contact with my social worker who spoke with the Peters, and now they're letting me stay until the end of August. But the whole family has changed. I explained all this to my best friend, and I said I was considering going NC with them after I moved out. He ranted to me about how ungrateful I'm being to them, and how they raised me for 11 years, and now they want to give that to another child in a position like I was. I get that, and that's part of the reason why I feel so guilty. My friend isn't speaking to me now, calling me selfish for wanting to stay with the Peters like I was promised, and for them trying to get rid of me with 4 days' notice. There were plans they could have taken to transition me into independent living before I turned 18, and they chose not to take part in them because they told me I could always stay with them. The one time of my life I needed my friend, and he's gone too, and I feel so alone, and I can't understand why he's taking their side over mine. I understand the argument that they will continue to help another child, but at the same time, I just wish they didn't have to throw me out to do so. When I suggested to my friend they could have asked their bio son to move out instead of me, and he just said I'm being selfish. I still don't even know if I am going to go NC with them. I just said I felt like doing it, and I wish I didn't even say that because I didn't expect it to cause such an argument. So, AITAH? No, son, you're NTA. They pretty much just tried kicking you out with no notice. And why? So that they can bring in another meal ticket, child, into their home. And you're right, they could have just kicked their bio son out just as easily. He's just sitting around stealing air anyway. When it comes to your friend, my dude, you need a better class of friends, or at least smarter ones. Let's see what another poster thinks. NTA. Your foster family failed you. They should have allowed you to start a transition plan, especially since they decided to push you out once the added income ended. Shame on them. Well, on that happy note, I think it's time to end our video for the day. But please tell me what your thoughts are in the comments. And please, if you enjoyed the video, then remember to hit like, subscribe, and share. It'll really help our channel out. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget, nothing burns brighter than the truth. Well, except maybe Dragonfire.